Hello there, dear Spellweaver community, and welcome to a patch overview video. Now, before we get to the core, like to the patch notes, I wanted to give you a little bit of an update concerning Spellweaver content on my channel. There's nothing too drastic. There is still gonna be Spellweaver, obviously, but I'm gonna do videos without facecam for a little while, because for some reason my built-in facecam is like damaged or I just can't use it anymore, and I'm too lazy to buy a new like separate webcam. So but I don't think it's gonna be too big of a problem, because yeah, if I don't have facecam, that means I have to impress you otherwise by really intelligent plays and actually know what I'm talking about. So I'm basically fucked. But yeah, I want to make this video to talk a little bit about the patch that is gonna occur and that has already occurred, because from what I understand, like, that's a bad patch overview for patch 2.45, and if I understood that correctly, that's like a little bit of a split patch, because the first part of the patch has been already introduced since April the 14th, and if we're gonna check the forums a little bit further, then we see that there is also gonna be a balance change for April 20th. Which is still, is gonna come out in like 3 days. So, yeah, let's take a look at the April 14th, the changes that are already in effect. By the way, ever since they released the new hero, Amalric, and the campaign, he came with the campaign, obviously, I haven't been playing ranked, because, you know, like, Order was just so buffed with that shit, and I just knew that everyone is gonna play like Amalric when he comes out, because that guy's gonna be OP, and all the cards that associate or work around him, and with all the Valor and Might Emblem stuff, everyone is gonna play Amalric, everyone is gonna abuse it, because it's possible, because all of those cards are OP, that's just a given. I haven't been playing ranked ever since, but ever since this patch, I think I'm gonna give it a try. Like, after April 20th, I think I still have some ranked gameplays on the back burner. I'm not too sure at the moment. I think I only have the campaigns for now, but after the April 20th, I think I'm gonna record a little bit more ranked, so you can look forward for that. So let's take a look. We have campaign cards balance changes, and I'm just gonna... It also gives me a chance, by the way, to review sort of the cards and what I think about them, because, you know, I already played through the campaign. Little spoiler alert right there. So, yeah, I played with every single card, I think, that came with this patch, and I haven't really gave you a full review and my honest thoughts about the cards, so, yeah, let's see what we have right here. So, of course, the first one that is gonna get nerfed is Amalric, the Holy Warrior, the hero. The hero skill no longer provides an attack bonus recharge time increased to 4. And he says, keeping the Amalric hero at a decent power level while still having the hero idea to remain intact was a challenging task, but we certainly didn't prefer risking to nerf the hero skill to the ground, so we opted for a relatively mild set of changes. So, basically a higher I think that's already in effect. It's the 14th one, right? Let's see. For some reason, couldn't you like right-click that? Ah, it's left click, never mind. Can we do, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's already in effect, so we just can relate to this. So, yeah, of course, before that, you know, shooting sprouts, I think, was really a good idea, or splashed it in with Order and with Amalric as a hero, because you can just use the Amalric hero power on shooting sprout. You have a lot of Might Emblems or Valor, from other cards, from the Master Hunter, from Triangelica Sentinel, basically almost every card that was added from Order and to a certain degree from Nature provided either a Might Emblem for the card itself, or for the card itself and other cards, or cards of your choosing in general. So shooting sprouts was like a big deal, I guess. I also haven't seen any videos, so I have to see what Forest Bear Studios did with that. But yeah, I think that's a decent change. Like, it's basically still the hero. Why is there any music, by the way? Yeah, okay, good. So it's good that they still kept the idea of the hero, but like nerfed it. definitely the attack bonus was maybe a little bit too much because like 2/2 creatures were just unstoppable at that point and can just buff them up to a 2/3. Can't be killed and can deal with pretty much anything on the board. So early on, obviously, as well. So I think that's a good change, definitely. Also increasing the recharge time. And we have Trigon of the Pact. For everyone that doesn't know, it's that card right here. Well, let's see, actually. Didn't it already... Yeah, I think it also gave speed. I think that's what they changed. Yeah, remove the +1 speed from the blessing mode, as a speed boost was simply too much for a card that doubled as a shrine, making it into basically a game-winning card in the mid to late game. A shrine shouldn't be able to do that. It was fun while it lasted, but sadly it can't remain unchanged. That's I can see that. I can see that. So basically the card is still the same. Yeah, having a shrine card basically gives beat, like 1 attack, 1 HP, and 1 speed permanently. Definitely was a little bit too much, I guess. So, a reasonable change right there. Triangelica Sentinel. Okay, wait. I think that was the card that many said is the most OP one. So let's see. If another allied creature with a Might Emblem would be affected by an enemy action, spell, hero skill, trigger, or activated power, remove a Might Emblem from that creature instead. This prevents all effects of the creature from taking place. Valor +2. They didn't change anything there, did they? Maybe like... Nah, I think the aspects are still the same, and I think the mana is still the same. It's still a 3/3, it's still a 2 speed. What did they change here? Can only protect creatures other than itself. Oh, okay. And level required increased to 2 + 0. Wait, let me see. That's... yeah, two generic and 1 order. I think before it was just order and 1 random aspect, I guess. But, okay, so it can't defend itself any longer, which is pretty good. So it can put a Might Emblem on itself. I don't know, like, if you... That's the thing, like, if you play, like, a Master Hunter, you can put Valor up to 2 creatures as well. So if you put it on Triangelica Sentinel and on the Master Hunter, for instance, is it still the same effect that the Triangelica Sentinel Might Emblem has? I'm not too sure about that one. As many players rightfully commented, Triangelica Sentinel made creatures nearly impossible to deal with, requiring 2 spells just to get rid of the Sentinel. We are following your advice and we are changing the Sentinel to only affect creatures other than itself. But in addition to that, the card often created a big tempo swing which wouldn't be substantially affected by this change. That's why we are also bumping the card to level 3. Makes sense. So before that apparently it was like just 1 order and 1 random aspect. Holy Radiance. Holy shit, as I like to call it. Right here, by the way, you have my current Steam profile. I have just like the artwork is beautiful and just the card is insane. Hold on, before I read that, I want to figure out if I can see what they changed right here. Oh yeah, I see it. Okay, so it's still like 2 mana, 1 order to deal 1 damage, but you need 2 order levels now to do the blessing. Yeah, if you don't know, like, you can play it instantly and it makes, like, it deals 1 damage to each creature, or before, you could also play it as a blessing, where after the enemy's next turn, it will deal 3 damage to each enemy creature, and now for that, you need 2 orders. So it takes a little bit of tempo off of that, but it's still OP, if you ask me. Holy Radiance was the 2nd most used campaign card in ranked play, topped only by Trigon of the Pact. Yes, it even surpassed New Horizons, which was holding the 3rd place. Congratulations, doesn't really surprise me though. However, the data for Holy Radiance painted a totally different picture. About 57% of the games in which Holy Radiance was played were won. Oh, okay. This was where cards such as Angelic Temple, Moonlight Patrol, Dust Titan, and Insta Alive stood and matched the team's expectations. In conclusion, we believe that the card was in a good spot in terms of balance, but because of the perception it creates, it still warranted a small change that would make it used at least a bit less often. Problem is, like, I don't think there are many cards that actually can deal with this. Like, if you play that as a blessing, sure, there are some cards who can remove that, but I think it's just like a Cataclysm on steroids. to be honest. Like, it's perfectly fine. Like, it's awesome early game. It's awesome against rage aggression because they mostly play like goblins. It's awesome during the mid stages of the game because there are not many creatures in the mid stage of the game that have more than 3 damage, more than 3 hit points. And if they do, you can just swing in with your 1/2s or 2/2s, whatever, and kill them. Late stages, well, depends on what aspect you play, but yeah, like late game, it's still pretty awesome, I gotta say, because 3 damage is just nothing to just like pass by. But yeah, only 57% of the games were won. That kind of surprised me, actually. Because, like, Holy Radiance 3 times in a row or something, like, actually... No, I'm not gonna say that because that's spoiler alert. So, next we have Thymea, Magi, Wanderer, Speed... fuck, damn it. Speed increased to 2. Where do we have her? Thymea, there she is. Oh yeah, that girl. Whenever another creature you control deals combat damage to a hero, you may move a Might Emblem from that creature onto Thymea to draw a card. So that's still the same, I guess. Valor +2. The players haven't yet identified Thymea as overpowered, however our data shows serious signs of concern. We decided to opt for a change to the card's speed, as drawing cards while also creating a huge 3-speed threat can turn the tide of the game too easily. Yeah, combine that to the previous Trigon of the Pack. Like, put that onto, not onto Dialga, but onto Thymea, then you basically had a 4-speed, which is pretty insane. Or just like Mantle of the Wind, slap that on her, and you have this 4-speed one. That's actually pretty insane if you think about that. And just like drawing a card just basically means like getting more, get the cards that you need more often. Next we have Dwarven Mortar. Oh yeah, I freaking love that card. I just love it so much. 2 speed, 3/2 support, can't attack. Still the same aspect, still the same mana. One deals 2 damage to an enemy creature, shock Dwarven Mortar. Huh. Okay. Oh, bump to rare from uncommon. Can you see that somewhere? I think it's this sign. Not too sure though. Perhaps a bit surprisingly, this little card seemed to wreak havoc in drafts and trials, topping the charts for win percentage after a specific card was played. For now, we are simply making it a rare because it was wonderfully balanced spot in ranked. The crafting costs will remain the ones for an uncommon card for a period of 1 week. So basically just for drafts, I think they did that. So nothing there. Diogen, Wandering Pilgrim, no changes. Diogen. Yeah, that guy, I don't know. I don't know. Like, many people say that card is awesome, but at least I can see that, but during the campaign it was just useless in my opinion. Like, I don't know, it didn't do anything because I didn't really play like the 1 mana cards, but I can see that being played, but not like to a great degree, to be honest. Like, I don't see it as a threat in any degree. I think you can play it with slaves, because Slave Gladiator is still 0 mana, or at least 1 mana. I think it was 0 mana. Something was changed there, but I think it was like the HP or the speed. Well, probably the HP. But, yeah, I don't know. No changes. Doesn't surprise me, to be honest. We know that most players believe that Diogen's ability to return shrines was too much. He can return shrines? What? Let me see. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah, cost 1, but why would you return shrines? Maybe it's some meta stuff that I don't understand because I'm horrible at the game. However, returning a shrine is generally much less powerful than drawing a card and warrants the cost of playing a 2/2 legendary creature that restricts you to 2 specific aspects. Look at it in this way. When would the extra shrine give you a new card you could actually use? Only after you've played all the other shrines you already had in your hand, which is, in most cases, on turn 6 to 7, unless it is the late game already, but in the late game, Diogen would most likely have a target anyway. Diogen's power level, by the way, that's something that my laptop does, so don't worry about that. Diogen's power level lied mostly in its interaction with Shooting Sprout, and that's why we opted for a change to Shooting Sprout instead. Diogen also becomes less powerful after the Trigon of the Pack change, and we believe this is more than enough to keep it in check. As I said, yes. That about sums it up. So, Shooting Sprout. Oh yeah, one more aspect, I guess, right? Yup, level increase to 1 random aspect and 1 nature. As discussed in the comments for Diogen, we'd like to limit the synergy between the two cards. Beating face with 8, 9 or larger shooting sprouts simply doesn't look like a lot of fun. Diogen could both return this card from the graveyard and give it Valor +1, which immediately makes it a 2/3, with the potential to very easily grow to huge proportions. This is simply too good for a 1-cost creature. Sounds reasonable. Still possible though, because it doesn't take too much to get like to 2 aspects. And then play Diogen and then play Shooting Sprout. So I think like maybe at turn 4, maybe 1 turn earlier if you have like Spark, but yeah, still. Played it with, by the way, I can see that being played with Diogen and with freaking implants. I think that would be pretty awesome, Shooting Sprout. Would it work in ranked? Probably not. Then we have Void Touch Subordinate. This guy. Yeah, I never played this. Oh, wait. Maybe I should have played it in my mill deck. I know it's Wisdom, but it still like requires Corruption to make it +1 attack and deadly. That's pretty awesome. I don't know if they changed anything there. A Corruption level now unlocks +1 attack and deadly. Hold on. Okay, so they just added that. That's a buff though, isn't it? Plus Parallel Evolution combo. Instead of the former power that transformed other creatures into... Oh, yeah, true. That's what it was, yeah. The combination of cards was unfortunately both quite powerful and extremely obnoxious. I can see that, definitely. Combining Parallel Evolution and the built-in power of the Subordinate to transform creatures. That's like... That's genius, actually. Like, did anyone do that prior to this nerf? Because I would love to see that. That sounds like hilarious. One could easily turn every relevant creature the opponent played into one that hurts him. Needless to say, this led to some very one-sided games in which barely anything happened. Well, that's the fun though, right? I think that's like pretty boring for the viewers, but I think it's like hilarious if you play it yourself. It's just like mill decks. Even though like my mill decks actually like, you guys seem to like that. By replacing the inherent transforming power of Void Touched, we are keeping some combo potential with Parallel Evolution while making sure that making the entire board of the opponent useless is such an easy feat, as it now needs to rely on Parallel Evolution, hopefully with a change to Instill Life, see below. This will keep games involving Void Touched Subordinate from going too overboard. The current data doesn't show Parallel Evolution being an issue, and we will, for now, refrain from changing the card, which is pretty good because I don't see anything wrong with Parallel Evolution. But I like, you know, that's the beauty of like new cards. Like when people actually see, okay, that it's pretty OP and it's pretty awesome when you play this card with that. So yeah, instead of like being couplings of themselves, they are now like +1 attack and deadly with Corruption. I could make for some fun decks as well. We'll see where the value of this one lies though with this new power. Then we have Instill Life. Let's see. Return up to 2 non-spirit oh yeah, I think that's a change, right? Creature cards with mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard onto the field. Let's see how they abuse that shit. Can only return non-spirit cards. Instill Life is a card with an elegant, open-ended design and big deck building potential. Unfortunately, the card has a couple of use cases where it is too powerful. We want to keep the card open-ended in terms of aspects, but limit some of the available targets. We came up with a non-spirit change, which keeps the card usable and at the same time prevents obnoxious combos with Void Touch Subordinate, Shifting Alright, and Mesmerizing Spirit. Okay, yeah. So, wait, what? How many cards was it? 2 non-spirit creature cards. Yeah, so basically, you could play Mesmerizing Spirit twice, and if they die, which I think happens pretty, well, like on purpose, maybe sometimes even, because you just throw them in, and then you can use Instill Live, and then, you know, have the enemy discard 4 cards in like 2 turns, which is pretty awesome if you're on that receiving end. So yeah, I can see that. I can see that, definitely. And we have Thaumic Reflector. Oh yeah, that's a card I never understood, by the way, because I never played it so far. Let's see. Choose an action card in your graveyard that was played this turn. Play it again without paying as much. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. So it's... Did they... Like 3 aspects. and 3 mana, and then 3 mana to use that thing. Sounds like a little bit too much, but I think they threw in one more aspect, I guess. Let's see. The activation cost was inadvertently changed to 2 mana due to a merge of game code from the code branch where the campaign was developed that went wrong. Thaumic Reflector was already proved to be problematic with an activation cost of only 2 mana. So technically, activation cost reverted to 3 mana. So before, it was basically a 2 mana to use this one. Everything was the same, but it was just 2 mana to activate it, and now you have to pay 3 mana for that. I can see like some spells. Oh yeah, like yeah, I can see if you play like Wisdom with Rage and you play like Fireball or even Fire Blast, and you can like play that again for basically 3 mana, like twice in one turn, or just like 2 Fireballs straight to the face. Sounds a little bit insane, definitely. Or like if you play like the Flash Freeze or Snowstorm, yeah, definitely I can see that. Okay, yeah, 3 mana for that sounds reasonable. Okay, so those are the changes that are already in effect, but then we have the cards or the things that were changed, or that are gonna be changed, and the good thing is it is prior to the April 20th patch, which buffs all cards from the evil aspect. Right here we see it. All buffed cards are in the evil aspects, as obviously the good ones received a huge bump in power with the campaign cards, so Corruption, Dominion, and Rage need some boosting to compensate for it. We deem making changes to good aspects at this point a very big risk to make one or more decks overpowered. So, yeah, basically after the huge nerf patch that completely obliterates or obliterated Dominion, and mostly all of the evil aspects, now they get some love back, and we start off with Corruption, and we start off with Sudden Death. Sudden Death. A card that I like and that I wanted to make use of, but I failed so far. So this is the current card. 1 Corruption, 2 mana. Destroy a creature with HP less than its base HP. Doesn't sound too bad, but many people said like the card is garbage. But it's an instant spell, so it can see some use actually. And Sudden Death is completely redesigned to Suffocate. Mana cost 3, level 1 generic and 1 Corruption now. And the spell is an action card, so it's not instant anymore. Each creature gets minus X attack, minus X HP until end of turn, where X is that creature's speed. Okay, that sounds actually pretty awesome, I gotta say. The thing with Sudden Death currently is... By the way, is it also like... Yeah, so I think it's not even Sudden Death anymore, it's just gonna be called Suffocate. Which makes sense, because Sudden Death doesn't really make sense with the thing that it does now. So the thing that I liked about Sudden Death was that you can basically... Whoops. Where is it? Come back. There you are. The thing that I like about Sudden Death currently is that you can basically throw any creature, like you can run a 1/1 creature into a 3/1 and still make it work, because you ram that 1/1 like basically like just like a militia. You attack the hero with a militia, and then like the enemy is gonna be like, okay, I have Raging Minotaur for instance, I'm just gonna block it with my Raging Minotaur. He has like 4 HP because he takes 1 damage from the militia, and then you can play Sudden Death and just deal with the Minotaur that way, or just like with any big threat. Also with the dragon, basically, if you ever dare to block with the dragon, even though you don't block with the dragon, because when you play dragon, you automatically won, usually. But yeah, that's what I like about Sudden Death. So now it's basically a little bit like, God. Wait, hold on. How is that thing called? I totally forgot now. Yeah, like Consume Spirit a little bit. Like minus X HP and minus X, plus X attack for your Corruption level. It's a little bit like that. With the, yeah, minus X attack, minus X HP. I think that can see some play also with Consume Spirit. Like, Consume Spirit got nerfed, but yeah, with this card, Suffocate, I think could see some play. Then we have Word of Pain. Currently, Word of Pain requires 1 Corruption and 3 mana to put a weakness emblem on each creature that you select for your corruption level. So if you have like 3 corruption levels, you can put 3 weakness emblems on enemy creatures, which is pretty awesome. I think before it was different before. It was definitely OP, so they changed it to weakness emblems instead. And draw a card, obviously. So, cost decreased to 2 mana. So 1 corruption level and 2 mana to put might emblems, weakness emblems, obviously, on enemy creatures for each of your corruption level. Which is pretty good. Like, usually they have like 3, I think, or maybe 4. When you play corruption, actually you only need 2 because you have reanimate. But, yeah, like between 2 to 4, and for a 2 mana, 1 corruption aspect, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Oh, totems. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm talking about right here. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm the only one that says that playing totems, aka shamans, is just so much fun. And, yeah, the thing is, like, if you play shamans or totems, I think you have to play Rage, because Rage has the best ones, and I would splash in Corruption, because Corruption does have a good shrine totem. And that totem being the one that, like, decreases the HP of the enemy. Nature is just too weak in my opinion, but there's a totem that they changed. Totem of Forsaken Thoughts. I think that's the totem that I never splash in when I play shamans / totems. Whenever an allied shaman enters the field, you may pay 1 energy to look at the top 4 cards of your deck, put a corruption spell from them into your hand, and then the rest in your graveyard. Yeah, that's shitty. At the end of turn, if Totem of Forsaken Thoughts has no energy, destroy its deck. You basically get 1 spell from Corruption and decay 3 cards, so you basically mill yourself. And that 3 cards could be like totems, there could be shamans, there could be your win condition in there. That's just stupid. So let's see. Instead of putting a spell into your hand, it lets you play a corruption spell with cost 2 or less without paying the cost. Yeah, but you still mill like the 3 other cards, so it's still bullshit. So I still wouldn't... I think I have 1 value totem in there of this one, but I don't know. I don't like it. Even though the change is good, but still, you mill 3 cards, and there could be like awesome cards in there. You never know. Mausoleum of the Damned. Skill activation cost decreased to 1 mana. So there's still the same. It's a shrine. The next time you play a level 1 creature this turn, an enemy creature gets -1 attack, -1 HP, -1 speed until end of turn. So basically, a better Nefarious hero ability, sort of. Only a little bit better because it also provides minus attack and minus HP. But I think, yeah, recharge time of 3, so maybe that's a little bit less. But decreased to 2 mana. It's still 2 mana though. Like, what? Oh no, wait, right here. It's 1 mana. Yeah, never mind. I looked at this one. Yeah, so to 1 mana. Yeah, definitely good. Like you can basically play this with Nefaros also, and then like also like Hands from Beyond, and like no enemy creature can attack after that. I think if you hit him with all of that. Then we have Rage, Fireball, a change to Fireball. That's something. That's a sight for sore eyes. I think that has been the same like ever since Spellweaver got released, right? Or ever since Fireball got released. Like one corruption, 1 rage level, and 3 mana. And of course, it deals 3 damage to a creature or hero. Ooh, cost decreased to 2 mana. That's insane. Like you can play, yeah, if you have Spark, you can play that at turn 1. Pretty legit. This change maybe requires an explanation, definitely. Fireball used to cost 2 mana, but at that point, there were barely any creatures with 4 or more hit points. The format also had the previous version of Dragonfire, which allowed dealing damage to the enemy hero, yeah, and the previous version of the overpowered Burning Rage spell, which drew a card every time a Rage spell was played, among other things. Currently, the situation is entirely changed, and Rage needs some substantial in order to catch up. Changing Fireball to 2 mana definitely does that, I gotta say. Like, holy shit. Like, if you play like Goblin Rush, the deck that I played, like, just Aggression, where Rage really shines in my opinion, because they have like the Flame Serpent, which is awesome for that. But yeah, also like buffing Fireball to have like 2 mana, like, phew, that's gonna be tough to deal with. It's gonna be really tough to deal with then. Black Market, the card that no one plays. Let's check this out. So it's 2 aspect, 3 mana, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. The enemy hero puts cards not named Black Market, so every one of them probably, from them with a combined mana cost of 4 or more into your hand. Put the rest in your graveyard. Why does no one play that? From them with a combined mana cost into your hand. So you play the enemy creature or spell cards. Well, maybe it's not too good because you can't play them. If you have like just Rage and they play Wisdom Mono, for instance. Put the rest in your graveyard. Oh no, never mind, of your deck. I thought from the enemy deck. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a little bit weird, but okay. Let's see, provides cards with a combined cost of 5 or more now, increased from 4. So yeah, 1 more. Alright, I can see that, but still, like, would you play it? Not too sure. Fia, Dragon Daughter. Love that card. Where do we have her? There we have her. It's ranged swift as a 1/1. When you deal damage to the enemy hero for the first time each turn, +1 energy, and you can sacrifice Fia, and Fia does damage equal to her energy to the enemy hero. Also awesome, by the way, also because it's swift. Awesome for aggression decks. Fia has now 2 attack, 1 HP without Swift. That's a little bit of a bummer. An activation cost of 1 mana was added to her activated power, and you can now also hit creatures with it. So it got nerfed in the sense that it's Swift, and that you need 1 mana to activate her power, but giving her 2 attack, and you know, she's still ranged, so she can deal with a lot more cards now. Than she could previously, because she only did 1 attack, so she was slain by pretty much everything. But also the fact that you can like sacrifice her to deal the damage to creatures is awesome. Definitely gives us some more value early game as well, and a good compensation for not being swift anymore. Definitely. Then we have, I also think like 1 HP 2 attack ranged and swift would be a little bit of an overkill though. Because she can deal with basically everything early game, I think, if you would have stayed like this with a swift one. Cannonade. Instead of shocking the creatures with a target emblem that were dealt damage by Cannonade, it deals double damage to those creatures instead. Okay. Okay. Let's take a look. I never really understood that card, by the way. Put a target emblem on an enemy creature. The enemy hero distributes 4 damage among creatures he or she controls. Okay. Shock each creature with a target emblem dealt damage this way. And now, instead of shocking the creatures with a target emblem that were dealt damage by Cannonade, it deals double damage to those creatures instead. Yeah, okay. That's pretty awesome. Maybe also target emblems become a thing now. I definitely want to see that, because I made a target emblem deck, but it's just not much to work with, and I don't think it would work in rank. Definitely gonna play that soon, and I'm gonna see if it works, but I doubt it. But seems like a lot of fun when they actually like put more emphasis on target emblems and on rage, obviously. Boiling Blood. Wasn't that the buff thing? Yes. So currently it's 1 rage, 2 mana. Attached to a creature, this creature gets +2 attack, and the best quote that we ever heard right here, maybe it's from Faust, could be. Yeah, definitely also good for Rage and for Massive Assault. Boiling Rage returns to hand when the creature dies. Level requirement increased to 1 plus Rage. So you need 1 random aspect and 1 Rage, but it's basically like, I think it was Mantle of the Wind? Was that a card that when the creature dies, it goes back to your hand? That's legit. That's definitely legit. I like that. Okay, Dominion, the one that got hit with the Nerf Hammer last time. Face Saiyan Mercenary. Holy shit, which card is that? There it is. Okay, yeah, that one. Basically just the standard vanilla one. 1 Dominion, 2 mana, and is a 2/2 speed. When you sacrifice Saiyan Mercenary, draw a card is added to the card. Mana cost decreased to 1, and level increased to 1 random and Dominion. So you need 1 random, 1 Dominion, and you can sacrifice it to draw a card. I think that's due to, like, you never know when you draw a card, obviously. That's for, like, early game, even though there are better options, like Shadow Step Assassin, and she's deadly, so she can deal with anything. And that's just a 2/2, so it's just a good blocker, but not, like, like it's not as good as other cards, but you can play that late game. If you happen to draw it late game, you don't need that card, so you can just put it down, sacrifice it, and draw a card. So I think that's maybe why they added it. Drayla, Ruthless Oppressor. Oh, I love that card, definitely. So it's 3 aspects, 3 mana, 4 HP, 3 damage, 2 speed. When Drayla enters the field, look at the enemy hero's hand. You may select a non-creature card from it. If you do, that hero discards that card and draws a card. Whenever an enemy creature enters the field, you may pay 3 mana. If you do, put a weakness emblem on that creature. Love that card. Absolutely love it. Let's see. The trigger to put weakness emblems on creatures entering the field has an activation cost of 2. Yes! 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 Definitely yes. So decreased from 3 to 2, I'm gonna make a Drayla deck. I'm definitely gonna make a Drayla deck. That's just awesome. I love it. Murderous Chieftain. When Murderous Chieftain destroys a creature, draw a card is added to the card. Can they even make that more OP? Where is he? Oh, okay, that's that card. I thought it was... For some reason, I thought about the Raging Minotaur. Unstoppable 5/5. When Murderous Chieftain enters the field, choose 1. Pay 2 mana, sacrifice 2 creatures, or sacrifice Murderous Chieftain. It's only 2 mana, by the way. But yeah, like, that's, you know, like, the whole ordeal. Like, either... I think pay 2 mana is okay, but sacrifice 2 creatures is a little bit heavy. Even though I never understood this one, though. Why would you why would you pay, like, 2 mana to play Murderous Chieftain only to sacrifice it? I don't get that. I don't know. No idea. But it's a 5/5, and now when you deal damage to a creature? When you destroy a creature, which is definitely gonna happen, I guess, you draw a card. Pretty good. Pretty good value, definitely. I don't recall ever seeing that, by the way, ever seeing played seriously, but with the effect of drawing a card whenever it destroys a creature, I can see decks being built around that, definitely. Mistress of the Shadows. Never seen anyone play that on... except for myself. No, never mind. I don't think I ever played it. I'm not too sure. When Mistress of the Shadows enters the field, the enemy hero takes control of it until the start of your next turn, and you draw a card. 3/3 Elf Mercenary. 2 aspects, 2 mana. Let's see. When a player gains control of Mistress of the Shadows, destroy a creature with attack 2 or less that player controls is added to the card. The power will generally trigger twice when it changes control to the opponent and when it changes control back to you. The card has an assassin type instead of mercenary. Oh yeah, from Elf Mercenary to Elf Assassin, which makes definitely sense, yeah. I like that. I can see, like, if you play Dominion Corruption and you play, not Succubus. How is she called? Let me see real quick. There she is. Blood Witch Harpy, right. So, when you play her, every time, like, on each hero's turn, as it says right here, you and the enemy, obviously, has to sacrifice a level 1 creature. And if you play that with Mistress of the Shadows, where you and the enemy also, every time she changes hands, I think, is the thing. Or is it only one time? Because it says right here, it will generally trigger twice. When it changes the controller to the opponent and when it changes back to you. I don't know if it just happens 2 times and then she just flicks around all the time, but you don't have to use it. I think, though, every time she changes the sides, you have to use it. Not only once, like every player once. I don't think that. So every time this card changes hands, you have to sack a creature with attack 2 or less. So yeah, I can definitely see that being played with Blood Witch Harpy, where you have to sack creatures with like level 1 creatures, and then you have like the Mistress of the Shadows, where you have to sack creatures that make 2 damage or less. That's pretty good. Then we have Assassin's Guild, also a card that no one plays. I also never played it myself. Rune of Blades. 3 mana, 3 mana and 3 recharge time. The next time you play a level 1 creature, this turn it deals damage equal to its attack to an enemy creature. A level 1 like a Shadow Step Assassin that makes 1 damage. Yeah, no thanks. Pretty stupid. Skill activation cost decreased to 2 mana. I don't think that's enough to really, you know, make it like see play, because let's see what the minion has right here, level 1. So you have this guy, makes 2 damage, it's kind of good, okay, that's awesome. But then, as you can see, like the level 1s, that could be a little bit silly. Power Seeker doesn't happen because he has like 0 attack to begin with. That's 2, that's 1, that's 1, that's 2, that's 2. That's potentially low though. That's potentially 3 though. Did that get nerfed, by the way? Ah, no, 2 speed. Never mind, it wasn't nerfed. Yeah, okay, that's awesome. That's kind of okay. That's pretty insane, like 4 damage. But in general, like, yeah, then we have all the 2 aspect ones. So in general, I can see why no one plays this, but maybe with like the change from 3 mana to 2 mana, I can see that being played. Because you still play that to an enemy creature, so you can't even use it on a hero, but you basically play that card and attack with it right away. So it's kind of swift, technically. So yeah, maybe someone will splash this into the deck and actually like surprise some people with that. And yeah, that's it. That's the little balance patch that is gonna occur and that has already occurred. So the campaign card balance changes April 14th is already upon us, obviously. So we'll see. By the way, let's see if let's delete those. By the way, oh, by the way, there's a nice little card back that I earned. Let's take a look. If anyone... Yeah, nothing changed so far. Like, still the most played hero is still Amaric, but I can see that being... not being the status quo anymore. By the way, right here we have 3rd place for 3. Congratulations, by the way. Surprised a lot of people lately. Also with the Spina, most played hero. Was it the most played hero? Yeah, most played hero in the last 10 games. So, kudos for not playing freaking Almaric and actually being like a little bit diversified. Also, like Keanu Reeves obviously was played because Might Emblems. And still, Darius was like the lone survivor down here, or up there in the top 10. And then right here, yeah, we have a little bit of a diversify. We also have Enoch right here. So demons apparently is still a thing. Maybe I can actually deal with Order of Now. But yeah, I definitely like all the buff changes. Like, obviously, they were needed for the 3 evil aspects for the minion, rage, and corruption. So we're gonna see how that affects the meta. Definitely the sudden death thing is gonna be awesome to see. Totem of Forsaken Thoughts, still not too hype about that. Actually, like, now that I think about it and that I looked at the cards, Assassin Guild, which could be pretty awesome, and I'm definitely gonna... You can take my word of pain for that, or my word of wisdom, whatever. Word of knowledge. Dela, Ruthless Oppressor, I'm gonna make a deck that has her as a win condition, because I liked her to begin with, but now that her activated power is only a cost of 2 and not 3, is freaking awesome. So, yeah. Definitely you can look forward to that. Maybe that's gonna be the next ranked episode also. The Drela awesomeness or something. We'll see. But yeah, that's it for the patch 2.45 discussion. Let me know what you think about the patch down in the comments below. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you in the next Spellweaver related video.